Hey folks, it's Dave back here in Studio C as I'm getting ready to take on the day, and a little follow-up to my utility video that I did yesterday. As you know, I'm playing the 70-71 season using shootout hockey, and I'm putting the stats into the Strat hockey utility program. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to do, and I did a video yesterday on how I was doing that. Well, I ran into another snag last night that I want to share with everybody. What happened was, as I was inputting stats from a game that I played, and in the utility, there were a lot of players that weren't on my shootout card. And I thought that was odd. I was like, man, I was really tired when I put in these teams, or maybe I made a lot of mistakes. I don't know. And then I found another and another and another, and I was scratching my head saying, how did I make this many mistakes? Well, it turns out that what I didn't do is when I put the players into the utility, I didn't take them straight from the shootout card, okay? What I was using were the players that were in Stratomatic. It's a Stratomatic utility, so it's the Stratomatic players, right? Well, not all the Stratomatic players, especially the extras, made it into the game, the shootout game. Okay, neither one is wrong. I'm just saying that, there's some players here that weren't there, and there was a couple players here that weren't there. So what I should have done from the start is just typed in the teams fresh from the shootout card, and they would have been exact. Instead, I just went with the imported Strat players, and there was a bunch of discrepancies. In fact, the hardest thing was, in the utility, you only can dress 18 skaters. That's how it's set up. Well, some of the Strat teams with the extras had 23, 24, 25 skaters. So I'm sitting there trying to scratch, 5, 6, 7 players and look to see who got stats on my shootout game. And I'm scratching my head, go, boy, this is really going to be difficult. Well, what I ended up doing is going back and looking at every team in the utility, matching it up with the shootout team card, and only the players on the team card now appear in the utility. So I weeded out all kinds of players. So now every team has 20 skaters, just like the 70-71 season. They get a nice round 20 skaters. So now, when I go to input my stats, all I need to do is uncheck 2. I only have to have 2 scratches in that game, and usually I find somebody in that game that didn't get any points and they were a scratch. Now I know that's going to mess up the games played and the whole bit, but I'm really concerned about wins, losses, ties for the teams, goals, assists, and penalties for the players, and then goals against and wins and losses for the goalies. So I'm not going to get every stat perfect because, again, I'm using a Stratomatic product with another game, and I'm trying to make them work. And they do work, just not 100% exact. So my advice is, if you're going to use the Stratomatic hockey utility for any of your projects, make sure that the players in the utility match up your game. Whether you use Hockey Blast or Shootout or whatever game you use, make sure you get that right off the bat. That way you're not going to run into players that are not in your particular game, and that'll cause some confusion like it did with me last night and cause you some headaches and some time. So anyway, I'm Dave. A little follow-up video here. So make sure the teams match up before you get going, and you are good to go. We'll talk to everybody later. Bye-bye.